So how we met was on Facebook. So sometimes I'd be hitting up chicks on Facebook. Um, I mean, chicks would be hitting me up, whatever. That goes back a long time. So I'd be hitting up these chicks. Sometimes I get with them, hang out with them, whatever. It is what it is. It's Facebook. So Jessica wrote me one time, and because I sent her a friend request, because I send friend requests to everybody when I'm on from my Facebook. Why do you think I have like 5,000 friends on Facebook? I send everybody a friend request just to promote the store. So I'd always be like looking for people in my area to add as friends, like people in the video game store area. So at the time it was in Prescott Valley, so I'd be adding people from Prescott Valley, and she got added on there, and she wrote me and she said, "Do I know you?" And I said no, and I looked at her profile and stuff, and I said, "What did I say?" I was just like, "I think I saw you at the video game store or something," which was a bunch of bullshit. I never seen her in my life. Um, so then she wrote me back, and we just started talking, just talking, and then it became like, she's like, "Can you call me? I'm driving," and I said, "Cool." So I called her, and then we just be talking, and I was in Vegas, and I was banging all these chicks, and then she was just like, for like a week, we'd be talking every night, before work, after work. She worked on a mountain with kids, so we'd be talking before work, after work, and just getting to know each other, just talking a lot. Um, and then like a week later, I was in town. I was in Prescott Valley, and she's like, um, "Do you want to hang out? Do you want to get together? I get off work, whatever, at what time?" And I said, "Sure." So like I went to meet up with her at Safeway in Prescott Valley, or somewhere in Prescott Valley. I think it was Safeway or Fry's or some shit like that. But she didn't she didn't show up, and then she said she had to go, and she didn't talk to me until the next day, and I was like, "What the fuck was that about?" So I got pissed, and I was gonna blow her off, because I didn't give a fuck. I was just like, whatever. And then like I did blow her off, so I had to go back to Vegas. So I was in Vegas for like another week. We were talking again, and I told her, I was like, "I don't think you want to meet me. Like, what's your problem? Like, are you fucking with me or what?" And then she's like, "I'm just really nervous, this and that." So then like another week goes by, and we were just talking and talking, and then I'm back in Prescott Valley again. And then I was like, "Meet up with me." She told me where she lives, so I drove by. She lived on a road called Tonto, and it was the craziest fucking thing in the world, because my baby mother went to Tonto Road, um, at the time, to when she left me. She went on that road, Tonto, and Jessica lived like 5 houses away. So it was so crazy. Like I was just like, "Are you serious?" Like yeah. So it was crazy. I'm telling you, she lived at that place for like a month and a half, and my baby mom lived like 5 houses away. Well, anyways, that was back then. Um, so I showed up at her driveway, and she wouldn't come out. And then she's like, "I'm going to sleep." And then she's like, "Just leave." So I was like, "Fuck this." But then the next day, she showed up. She came over. She showed up, and then we hung out, and then we went out to eat, and then we came back, and she stayed the night, and then we hung out the next day. She stayed the night again, and then I went back to Vegas. And then she was telling me how she hates the place she lives, and I said, "Well, I just moved to Vegas not too long ago, and I just moved out of this house in Dewey that I was renting with my ex-wife." And I was like, "What's fine?" She's like, "I really want to move," and we were only 2 weeks talking, like 2 weeks in of like seeing each other, and I was like, "All right." So I was like, "Let's get a place." So I looked for a place, and I couldn't find one, and the landlord at the house that I left, I asked him. It was like a month and a half later. I was like, "Hey, is the house still available?" He's like, "Yeah." And I said, "All right, I want it back." So he gave it back to me, and then we moved in there, and the rest is history. And now she's pregnant, having my kid. But that's how. Oh yeah, and a week after I met her on like our fourth date or whatever, because when I first met her, I told her I was 27, and I have no. I think I told her I have 2 kids, or I think I told her I have 0 kids. I don't remember. But I have a lot of baggage, and I'm a little bit older than 27. And like we were in Dewey eating at the cafe there. I forget what it's called, Bradshaw Mountain Cafe, or something like that. Um, And I told her, and I was like, hey, I'm 34. And she's only 21, dude. Like, she's 21. I had, um, she thought I was 27, and I was like, fuck. So she left, like, when we were eating, when I told her. She's like, are you serious? And I said, yeah. And then she's like, are you fucking serious? And, like, got up and left. Left me there. Um, and then, a couple hours later, she called me, and she's like, hey, I'm sorry. And then she's like, how many kids do you have? And I said, 2. And then she said, are you sure? And then I had to tell her how many I had. Um, and then she got pissed off again, and then that was it. And then we were good. And then she said, don't ever fucking lie to me again. And I never have it ever since. And she's a great girl, and she's now 22, and she's pregnant. She's having my kid, Matthew, here soon. So yeah, that's pretty much getting caught up on what's going on in my life. Video game store, YouTube, custody for my kids, or battle just to see them, ex-wife drama with the boyfriend. Just that's pretty much what's going on. Keeping up with the goat. That's what I named it. That's what I called it. And that's what's going on in my life. We'll get back to more things on episode 2. This is episode 1. So let me get into some games for tomorrow. Alright, so we're going to hit the NHL first. I'm going to go over yesterday's results, everything I said, and then I'm going to give you guys some picks for the upcoming Sunday. So the Boston Bruins are minus 370 or whatever they were. They lost 5-4 to the Rangers. Kind of figure that not all the favorites are going to win. So there was the one that went down. The parlay that I gave out, the free pick client parlay that I made a bet on, and I told you guys to bet Pittsburgh Penguins with who was it? The Minnesota Wild. Where are they at? Minnesota Wild wins 4-3 against the Ducks, and the Pittsburgh Penguins win 1-0. So we're 1-0 in the NHL so far. And I also won my free pick. I gave out Capitals money line with Vegas. Vegas wins 4-1. Capitals win 2-1. So we're 1-0 on both on the NHL. So it's a good start on the NHL. Toronto beats Montreal. I mentioned that would happen. The Islanders beat the Devils 5-1. I said that would happen. Tampa Bay goes down to Florida and loses. Florida wins 5-1. Winnipeg Jets lose to the Ottawa Senators 4-2. Carolina Hurricanes go down at Nashville 3-1. Edmonton Oilers beat Vancouver Canucks 4-3. Mentioned Colorado should take care of the Kings. Colorado wins 3-2. And then I mentioned Arizona should beat San Jose. They both suck. Arizona wins 5-4 in overtime. So let's move on to Sunday real quick. There are 2 games, and of course one of the games is my team. So Dallas Stars is my team. Dallas at Chicago. Dallas minus 150 over under 6. And then there's no line on the Ottawa at Calgary, so we won't even talk about that one. I'm just going to go Dallas Stars money line on the road minus 150. That's it for the NHL. Let's move on to the NBA. Alright, so the Portland Trail Blazers end up winning. That was a late game, 124-102. Blazers win. I said they would. The game that I gave out, also, it went up to 250. The over went up to 250. The Wizards at the Pacers. The final was 133-132. Said the Wizards would win. They did win on the money line. And then I also said take the over. It went to 265 points. And that's what I mentioned. It would probably go to that many points. Both those teams are on defense are terrible. It went over the 250. That's the highest total I've ever seen. Detroit Pistons at Philadelphia 76ers. 76ers were minus 9. They get the job done, 118-104. I said they would win. Memphis beats Toronto. Said Memphis would win, 109-99. 125-119. The Nets beat the Nuggets. And I don't remember what I said on that one. Just depend. I said I was going to bet Brooklyn when the playoffs start. I stay away from Brooklyn, but they're a good team. The Jazz, that was my play, minus 16, minus 15, whatever it was, 14. They only win by 8 against the Rockets at home. So we'll take an 0-1 record going in, starting in NBA. And then the free play was the Golden State Warriors minus the 14. They win by 39. That should have been the play of the day, but it's fine. That's the free play. So we're 1-0 on the free play, and we're 0-1 on the client play for the NBA. Now let's move on to the MLB. No, I'm kidding. We're moving on to the games for Sunday. Miami at Boston. Boston plus 1.5 at home, over under 217.5. Don't really have an opinion on that one. Clippers minus 7.5 at home against New York Knicks. Over under 215.5. Clippers should get the job done in that one. New Orleans at Charlotte. Charlotte minus 4.5. Over under 221.5. I'd probably lean Charlotte in that one. Dallas at Cleveland. Dallas minus 10.5 on the road. Over under 216. Dallas should get the job done in that one. Minnesota at Orlando. Minnesota minus 6.5 on the road. Over under 229. What a junk game that is. Chicago at Detroit. Detroit plus 9.5 at home. Over under 221. Chicago. What a junk. Both those teams are junk also. And then you got Phoenix at LA. Lakers at home plus 6. I don't believe LeBron's playing. Oklahoma City at Sacramento. No line. For NBA on Sunday, I'm really not even going to give anything out. And that's just the honest truth. I have nothing for NBA on Sunday. Now let's move on to the MLB. Okay, so I mentioned that the Yankees would probably beat Washington. They did, 4-3. That was a winner. Not a free play or a client play or nothing, but the free play did win. St. Louis Cardinals first 5. They win 9-5 in the first 5. So we're 1-0 on the free play in the MLB. Cubs beat Pittsburgh 3-2. I said that would happen. San Francisco beats San Diego 7-1. I was wrong about that one. Oakland beats Tampa Bay 6-3. I believe I said Oakland. The game that I liked, Berrios, should have just took Minnesota in the first 5. I would have pushed. It would have been a push, but they ended up losing the game 7-3. So we're 0-1 in MLB. Unfortunately, Berrios didn't lose the game. The bullpen did. They gave up 5 runs in the 7th. I like the Twins. I bet the Twins. I lost. Milwaukee at Miami. Milwaukee wins 6-2. Indians beat the Reds 9-2. Texas beats Seattle 9-8. Boston beats the Baltimore Orioles 11-6. And like I said, stay away from Javier whenever he pitches for the Houston Astros, and this is why. Toronto wins 8-4. I knew I should have just took Toronto plus the 130. I just don't like that pitcher Javier. He's just not that good. White Sox beat the Kansas City, and I liked Lance Lynn. He wins 9-1. Didn't touch it. Should have took him. Mets beat the Diamondbacks 4-2. Braves beat the Phillies 8-7 and 12. And then the Dodgers, I mentioned Kershaw, and I should have took the Dodgers. I think I gave out the Dodgers. I don't remember, but they win 14-11. What a crazy fucking game. And I'm sure it's going to be Dodgers and Angels on Sunday Night Baseball. Okay, so early morning, you got Joe Ross against German for the pitchers. Yankees minus 160 over under 9. Probably going to have to go Yankees again. Boston at Baltimore. Pivetta versus Kremer. I'd go Boston minus the 140 in that one on the road. Baltimore's not that great of a team. Mieta and Boyd. Minnesota Twins at Detroit Tigers. Twins minus 155. I like them a lot. Obviously, seeing the Mets minus 330. DeGrom's pitching against Riley Smith. Diamondbacks at Mets. The Mets should dominate. I don't think the Diamondbacks will score. You know what? The Mets might actually get... DeGrom might actually get a perfect game in this game. You never know. I like the Mets minus the half in the first 5. I like a minus 1.5 also in the game. That's a pretty strong play because he's just been dominating. He's the best pitcher in baseball right now. Diamondbacks can't hit the ball. He might just get a no-hitter. You never know. Cincinnati at Cleveland. Cleveland plus 120. Over under 8.5. The pitchers don't matter in that game because I'm not touching it. Milwaukee at Miami. Miami minus 145 over under 7. Miami's a favorite. That's kind of weird. Toronto at Houston, no line, but Greinke's pitching for Houston. That's a time to probably take the Houston Astros. These are all early games on Sunday, so if you don't hear this, you're not going to be able to get any action. Giolito's pitching for the White Sox at Kansas City against Mike Minor. I like Giolito. That would be the free play right there. White Sox first 5 innings money line. There you go. Then you got the Cardinals. Wainwright's pitching against German Marquez for the Rockies. St. Louis Cardinals minus 148. Probably take them. Sounds like a good pick right there. Pittsburgh at the Cubs. Pittsburgh's terrible. The Cubs are at home. I don't like Hendricks. I don't like that pitcher. He's pitching against Tyler Anderson. Cubs minus 170. I'll stay away. The Cubs should win, though. Seattle at Texas. Another junk game. I don't care about that one. San Diego at San Francisco. Cueto's pitching for the Giants. San Diego probably get the W in that one. Uh,